Enka editie samufo asonso kroje. Mantem dun seni na musa enumreyant na se anjebre. Enfa enso musa mothers KASE Baatan enon ena enumreyi ye baba ye edi ama wo kama. Na KASE Estate Ghana Limited wo madama. Ena enumreyi wo mu epia ye ama hunu dwam asomo osompa. Na ensama eba no enumreyi edosu ye papa. Etifia sembi ene se Ghana Mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama obore mu from Mantemudia enyamino kase de Japan wade aso akwakobo from ama 24-hour economy no ye ba be si edwa no eje amawo mo
Supreme Court so enye finshia 150 years na we na kwekopie mu asante mantoma was in some kai bebre egu ho
so ena me no kase de Justice DFK Anai what one anana mo nsia de no infie ne pare eduoni 20 years ni na mpanyifo ahye eho fa
Empress so mpanyifo bebre den sambi atuga watch the bank nkumankuma ne yaza oboboa amahene dwumeza yezi no etum akonanyim amahen
Abusiafo nsem yi ena ensem enkai bi ena enumre yet na se ajebresa pesmakafo ede asomo some mothers KASE Baatan abusiafo apesmakafo ya ajebre ena enumre yi esomo osompa ayemme Nana aba ejeba mene
Jumai dausa
afi jebre ne yenhye ensem no ase
Mothers FM 102.7
Abusiafo hye so se ene ya wada kita onsabo so me no ne da etoso edu ensia wa afimpinu ene eduonu ensia emu ye hye ensem na se edi amaudi na ye hye se e from mantem emu na Ghana Mampeni His Excellency John Dramani Mahama eboremu e from mantem enne na nyina ne se wode aso na akakobo fam 24-hour economy market no eno na wo che se wode kakopiem e Japan na se e ade a uboremu from mantem de nkronkro ne de ahye ase enye obi biara eje ne de na North Townments ni so afi na edru womo eso na Ghana Mampeni ekwaye de a wo se wo hwemu pa de de a nti a womo ye nyina ne se mantem dun seni na mu no enye mensi na eye hamienu ene eduosia ba ko 261 districts no eno enye de 24-hour market ni na ekom se enye be ye betumi aboa amaya setenemu akoyie eje amaye wo sanso chemu se wo hwemu mpo from mantem no womo ne omo a ene ekọ enakra na titiru ewa aban emu esanse womo so eboa yi papa ema aban NDC esi betina abenwa so na mponye se womo nkwenti ena omo ye ediama onam no eye bosha wa hye wo mamu Ghana nya se obeye eninti wo ye diama omo a na ese efata wo sanso atum se wo hwe from mantem dia eye ade a womo dindimai eba ebeboa ama enwuma aba abeboa ekuafo edwadifo ena finso so nyamenya atumi akonkan na Ghana so yedwedi ensem enye sikasem atumi ejina brane
Planning this celebration under the theme the Supreme Court at 150, honoring the past, celebrating the present, and defining the future, we conceived of the creation of various fora for interplayers of justice delivery to meet
here to commence an investment that is intended not only to serve this community but to stimulate economic activity in the entire Volta region. Today's ceremony marks another important milestone in government's commitment to building an economy that creates opportunities where people live and work. It also reflects our conviction that national transformation must be rooted in strong local economies that empower farmers, traders, manufacturers, entrepreneurs, and young industrialists. The Volta region has made an immeasurable contribution to Ghana's development, and its people deserve to share fully in the progress of our nation. And as I said when I was campaigning for president, I said I'll always ensure that the Volta region gets its fair share of national development. And so let me assure you that this government that I lead does not regard the Volta region merely as a region of loyal political support. We reject the notion that any part of Ghana should be taken for granted or left behind because of its electoral choices.
Ghana Penny His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Enwachi and Framanta Muswafo when for James Gunu. One also at the insam to Jan now watch us a dear bina ajiatumu. Say whatever a China for no ababa Jumana Edia Maya not just a cost of 101 no. Nanienta why was a Japonina and say ebe to me a boapa. Ama a jedie ewo o my Ghana and your mind togo no so a call a show. Ama bibia akwankan ede ama o my Ghana was also din komo edify a year phase 2 ede masi defense a ekoso no emu. Some say no menyan for James Gunu at the 2 ja.
And then the whole new house bypass, and we're also going to inspect the multi-purpose laboratory complex that has been built for the University of Health and Allied Sciences, our legacy university. And from there, His Excellency the President will attend a debate of health professionals and the general public at the whole municipal hospital, where we will unveil the free primary health care initiative by His Excellency the President. When we come to the district assemblies development, you know that today 80% of the district assemblies common fund goes directly to the assemblies for infrastructure development. So the assemblies are developing infrastructure in the area of education, health, water and sanitation, and other areas of development. Then also the GET Fund is also providing infrastructure development in the region. As we speak, we have close to 370 plus GET Fund projects across the region.
Onimanya for James Gunu from Manta Muswafo no Nagana man penny akwanya no nkwana koyo onimanya for Haruna Idrisu so for hwe humesiansam so wono so kwata dwumedie no achi na wokochemu dia na woche se o wati anase wonya ntie se akosombo na fe Japan textiles no ade a womonyoma koyi papa na 24 hour economy ni kra ebe boa ama akosombo en Japan textiles no aton womonyoma ne kra ade ama womesan se locally manufactured entoma no boye papa and some say no menyan for Haruna Idrisu at the 2 ja.
To support President Mahama on his tour of the Volta region and my younger brother, the Honorable Okujeto Ablakwa. This is one of our strongest constituency. So you need to keep it. And you need to respond to the needs and aspirations of the people of Dong. Even on my arrival here, my attention has just been drawn to a deficit with teachers. So it means we have to remedy that. If there is any opportunity for recruitment of teachers, we should look at deprived districts in need. Then you can prioritize it against highly concentrated areas where teachers are more. My attention have also been drawn on arrival here to major industrial facilities here in the constituencies. Akusumbo Textiles, Japan Textiles. Remember my role previously as Minister for Trade and Industry. If we want to give meaning to the 24-hour economy of President Mahama, put Japan and Akusumbo Textiles, give it out to a strategic investor, give the investor 25 years to come and manage it, and then the clothes we wear, including what I'm wearing, can now be locally produced Ghanaian.
Ne krakramu no eno nyamfo Ahmed Ibrahim wono yesofo a wo hwe eye nkronkro eye nkuma amemuomu ahensam ena afenso osom hodwumedi ho nsem so ewo omanga ne masei wono so kopiem wo hono de wo hye se imprempren de eye de Ghana mampani wo bɔ ne homodin ye papapa na yade a edwa no wo mugusua esi wo mo epem ekɔ wo manyima wo besi eye edwa no ahanu ene edwunum ba ko 251 market ena wo musi e wo mantem dun sini na emu se ne be edwedi nsem ebekɔ enkan ede amaye.
A visionary, you need a reformer, you need a history maker, and you need a great thinker. That man is here on the high table with us. In Volta region alone, you are blessed with 18 of such markets. So Japan is having one, go west, go east, Akati north, Akati south, Agotimezia, Pesaf, Danov, almost everywhere you are blessed with such markets. But because time is not on our side, I will leave the details. He himself will come and tell you. But you know, Japan is not a metropolitan area. Japan is not like Kumasi. Japan is not like Accra. Japan is not like Ho. But because of your hard-working member of parliament, the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, Japan alone, the market that he's building here is like the metropolitan market in Kumasi, the metropolitan market in Koforidua, the metropolitan market in Cape Coast, the metropolitan market in Tamale, the metropolitan market in Takoradi is the metropolitan market that he's building in Japan here.
Matters FM 102.7.
Onimanyafo Ahmed Ibrahim wanonsukota Ghana mamponi echi abra wadi aso ekobo from ewo Japan na 24-hour economy no yebabesi ede amawomo.
Yes, over to find alcohol Asante Mantoma Supreme Court in Fisher 150 good years no copy more ewo Asante hina kachi na one order sembi to go watch the waba jensra another permission mes mo be able to why one lectures no ho na ende na abroad to me pumako man pempen was lectures ni na ekweku gudu ho na ho ena penyin another justice eje from pono eche mazima Supreme Court ezen sembi to go eche den pempens wo bo hwe na nkabom na odo wetu mozaze ase and na face so attention ni naranom oyaza was ni narabogo akwem na wezi one sam ne pepe mes mo beya asem zibia no botum ayemo bibia botum de na asem aba onkoye tede ebia wo kan we na asem am no woja we na asem am wonye dem na mbom no wo hwe emma attention ni na egu na akwem nkambom na afi asomdwe no wetum mozaye ejuma ensama onwanyafo eje ide tu gwabini.
Planning this celebration under the theme, the Supreme Court at 150, honoring the past, celebrating the present, and defining the future, we conceived of the creation of various fora for interplayers of justice delivery to meet and engage. Far from indulging in a mere institutional talk shop, this engagement is to engender a collective inquiry into the past of the administration of justice, assessment of its present state, and how to aspire into the future with hope. And let me state with due clarity and commendation that the institution of chieftaincy was the originator of justice delivery in our society. Before the advent of the colonial courts, before the enactment of the first colonial ordinance, and indeed, before the conception of any modern court building in this land, it was the chief, the Queen Mother, and the traditional authority, however designated, that stood as a primary forum for the resolution of disputes. The customary processes of mediation, conciliation, and arbitration conducted under their traditional gavels were not mere informal gatherings, but were structured.
Enza yekweti ye ora justice eje frimpon onozana sambi zitugwa onechi no so Ashanti regional minister Dr. Frank Amakwini mabi echia ono so yaza ozana sambi tugwa reche dem pemprenze kabi maminke bi amembu no oyaza waza she imresem no mani nara etum adezi nyetede bia we ye neze we enti ase no do na afi kabi maminke bi na waza shembre no wazi ye ejuma.
So on behalf of His Excellency the President, we want to wish you all a happy anniversary, and we say Ayiko for preserving the institution of the judiciary and the Supreme Court for 150 years. A round of applause for yourselves. This celebration is not just a passage of time. It is a celebration of our sacred national inheritance, carefully passed through dedication, wisdom, and the courage of generations of judges, magistrates, lawyers, and court officials who refuse to allow justice to yield to fear, who refuse to allow justice to yield to power or political expediency. They handed to us not merely an institution, but a legacy built on an enduring principle of fairness, integrity, accountability, and the rule of law. Every generation has a responsibility to preserve and strengthen the institutions that are bequeathed to it. Today, we honor the remarkable sacrifices of those who came before us whilst reaffirming our collective duty to leave behind a judiciary that is even stronger, a judiciary that is more accessible, more efficient, and more trusted than the one we inherited.
Dr. Frank Amwakohene and Northern Assembly to go wife so Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni so than Sambi to go Richard and Pemprains in Monam do Emma was it them lectures ni na be PMO and if you day. Atembuna Casa Yazo Shasuan in Fienta in Fiano your history be brazen for Yanata Musam no home. When on them domotum copiemo no Bokodara was I shame Miss Mobaya Asemzino botum Akoning Bebre.
Before justice wore robes, it wore wisdom. Before judgments were printed in the law reports, they lived in the memories of elders. And before our court sued in the stone and mortar, justice often sat under trees, where truth was patiently sought, wrongs carefully weighed, and peace restored. Not because one side had won, but because the community had been made whole again. The forms have changed, Your Majesty, but the calling has not. And it is at this meeting point that the Supreme Court and the institution of chieftaincy find each other. One speaks through the Constitution, the other through KASE3. One draws its authority from the Republic, the other from the deep wells of history. Yet both exist for the same enduring purpose: to preserve justice, secure peace, and protect the dignity of every person. Honorable Chair, 150 years ago, a seed was planted. Those who planted it could not have imagined us gathered here today beneath its branches. They simply believed that justice deserved an institution that could outlast any single generation. Those who came after watered that seed with learning, strengthened it with courage, pruned its leaves through difficult decisions, and shielded it when storms came.
Ora Paul Bafuboni Northern Assembly atuga on no so asante hene oye otumfo osei to do ebien na namua na na bi nyinanyim na nation na kasa so the Assembly to go Richard and Pemprenze timemofo na afa wiase afa na nyina woma yen won so atembu adwuma no osen na mo ye nyina ye de ye na atembu nsam ne botumi ejina na do na tiro dado ye highlighting the anniversary theme ne ye honoring the past, celebrating the present in Pemprenze then when we were no oyaza yes when you enyonyam na afi when awata ase no so yes won kana da adwuma no wontum ye na obeye ne ye nsam bia ozetu gwani.
I'm deeply honored to be here with other revered traditional rulers in the midst of this distinguished gathering as special guest of honor to reflect with you on a subject that lies at the very heart of our nationhood, the relationship between the Supreme Court of Ghana and by extension, the Judiciary of the Republic of Ghana on the one hand and the institution of chieftaincy on the other. So, on my part, my Lord, and I believe I speak for all of us, the theme for the anniversary, honoring the past, celebrating the present and defining the future, is eminently apt. Equally, the topic of today's lecture, the Supreme Court and the institution of chieftaincy, is particularly opposite. It is modern, born of constitutional and other legal design. Together, we have shaped the character of our nation's legal and cultural identity. Long before the colonial courtroom was built, as the Chief Justice intimated, the institution of chieftaincy stood as a principal organ of governance, justice, and social order among our peoples. The chief was and remains the supreme priest, judge, custodian of land, and symbol of the continuity between the living, the dead, and the yet unborn.
Matters FM 102.7.
Otumfo osei tutu asante hene papa bi out odo ebien and Northern Assembly to go to them Pemprenze yenhwe na ho awewu kwani yenhwe woni onwanyam ho wata ase no so yenhwe woni duru yenhwe woni kena yemmie woni mu mesmo ba ya adwuma no so wobatum ezi
I was here for you to answer no so dear Mano Kase dear what Temu Adwumani so Right Honorable Justice Daniel Francis Kwepe Anan dear wo mashebedemu wo mudwumadi masan so na kemami kebi amemo so wo mu papa ye na ba ne se kemami kebi so de na wodi mutintiman ye pa na wo so na no wonse de mfie no aduonum enie dear mprempren de mpanifo akyemu se ni wo no dear wo magasha say wo mo ehye ho efa mfie aduonum enim enti mprempren de parliament wo mo clerk eno Ebenezer Ahuma Director wo no so de ensem atudwa na wo kye se ba no ensem wo atemu adwuma mu na afi so ma hye fie adwuma mu dia onimonyamfo enidin de ye njai bode bia de bekoso akan no esanse wo ginidin adwuma pa de boa Ghana kebima kebidwumadi no wo oman emu.
Your Ladyship, representing the Chief Justice, my Majority Leader, Minority Leader, my Lord, yes, Speaker, Justice William Atuguba, His Royal Majesty, the King of the Ghana State, Honorable Ministers of State, Honorable Members of Parliament, eminent persons here present, including past majority leaders, officials, members of Parliament, members of the diplomatic corps, colleagues, members of staff of the Parliamentary Service, ladies and gentlemen. In view of time, I'll keep it crisp. Let me indicate that there are occasions in the life of an institution when we are called to reflect on those whose service helped shape the foundations upon which we now stand. Today is one of such occasions. As Clerk to Parliament, I have a singular privilege of serving as custodian of the records, procedures, and institutional members of this august house. That responsibility found appreciation of the men and women.
Na Parliament clerk anusi ya penso so na Justice Williams Atukuba wono so ne hoyada ne hododo no na so wachemu se ba no owura ne din Right Honorable Justice Daniel Francis Kwepe Anandia want to me entena no to so entene fie sanse owura yi ba no mashibedwem wo mudwumadi dia wodi tintiman ye papa entin se mrempre ye kan ne dia na wo se wono so ba ne nsembetudwa ema no kire se papa yi Ghana fo because Honorable
Majority Leader of Parliament, Clerk to Parliament, Representative of the Chief Justice, the Minority Leader, yes, is here. Name, Nime, all distinguished, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see from the sound of my voice, I'm not in the best of shape in terms of health, but I have rather an emotion that cannot be put down when I'm called to serve the public in any capacity. I personally feel that I'm the property of the state.
Yes, I'm Mothers FM.
And into Justice Williams Atukuba nene enye kokotie ye awon so edesa enseminar etudwa.
Yes, over to France, so Parliament and paying for Apple Defense University Bill 2026 for from crowd watch it says yeah that maybe or that what was a ban now was a basso or to mobua mess mobile as a siena yes and tertiary phone as a siena was a tomb aquature. It says yeah no why one arguing there will be a bill be at war Jane I Ghana Tertiary Education Commission JTEC for so now wasn't some be to go watch them. One also pedal positioner or that what to there it was director position and son wetumu amo dibre emetumpo se bia ba bechra aze another rebeye bibi wo suaponuma dem dibre na ode tumu wo and son was aka hono was aka ho amom we na Honorable Shaibu Mahama oyembrehye bedwanyize madaboya ana mankurigu na ozene sambi izituga.
Mr. Speaker, a further proposed amendment to GIII to qualify who represents the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. So not below the rank of a director. So just as we have for Ministry responsible for Defense under I, Ministry responsible for Education under II, under GTEC, Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, not below the rank of a director nominated by the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mahama na we in Onyanyamfo James Agaga or Yemresha Bedwenizima Booster North. Na Southern Sambi to go ched and pen prince J-Tech phone is a one wobu position panty them position some now was Abanese or Yaza or busy manaife. Another was busy in roads busy when I was Shiano Miss Mobaya. Once over to my Akonkan Amon or send the Wayaza wobu when ye ankasa.
Tech was represented. They actually accepted the position taken by my colleague that the rep of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission should not be below the rank of director. So if you look at our report, that is what is actually captured. So I want to think that the ranking system is well respected within the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission itself, which is why...
Very well. Then I'll put a question on the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee as further directed.
Honorable James Agaga Northern Sambi Atuga Biamuso MP Zima Offensive North Honorable Fred Chewi Asamoah na so the Sambi to go ched and pen praises so open LCC week na Oyaza won't to one ma addition cropen ko beye ebien osande addition one sama and a walk aquatanasi bobo afan winter addition cro into munko bia beye ebien another a basin of what to representing no Sambia or the two granny.
Further amendment to III, Clause 6. Mr. Speaker, this is an educational institution, and as such, we cannot have only one student representative on the council. This is an institution that is made up of both graduate and undergraduate students. And as such, just having one student nominated by the SRC is not something that we will advise. If you look at the current renditions and the KNUST bill, which we keep referring to, we have two student reps, one by the SRC, which is undergraduate, and one also by the Graduate Students Association. So, Mr. Speaker, I propose that we include additional sub-clause for G, where we will have one student rep nominated by the Graduate Students Association. Then, of course, we can also amend 6 VII to include undergraduate student, as is captured in the
Honorable Fred Che Asamoah in Northern Sambi Atuga. Honest, you know, so committee chairman so then Sambi to home my speaker and some Wakenze, where now what no was superm now that was a going up in for what I say. No bobo whom Miss Mobaya, the main amendments and Obashana wasn't ye at ye.
We discussed this at length at the committee level and finally settled on SIC being putting up one person to be on the council. That was the decision at the committee level. But I leave it to you and the House to decide.
Yes, but the VII is even saying students of the university. It's plural form. So he is asking how many. It should be 2 students.
Mr. Speaker, if I listen to him carefully, he's asking that probably a graduate student be added.
No, that is why he's first saying that the student should be 2 representing the SRC. Then the third one is additional clause to make provision for graduate students.
Yes, I'm Mothers FM.
Committee for no and I wasn't one and some be was a 2 gua.
Yanto so youth employment development ni emudia na bibia konkan de ama emebrunom na so afọ wada youth development and empowerment nim ayonmanya for George Opare Ado na de wo mo de dwumadi bi hyehyɛ so dia na enyo mo nko a na wo de ahyehyɛ so na mamu no wo mo ne empanifo akabia ewo mu na ka ba kire mu no Ministry of Labor Jobs and Employment na afenso so private partner Need Consult Limited and omoni womo kasubom de womo ntuma ebo ano edi dwumasom ewo oman Ghana mu ase na soafo a wono na hwe emebunu womo mpuntuo eso ewo oman Ghana mu ase onimenya for George Opare Ado HSS sajmedi a womo di ya to the labor exchange program no baba beboa sedi ebeya emofra na say emebunu ebenya enwuma aye na say kasa enwuma paso dia enwuma ehote bi oni be say decent jobs won benya bi aye ewo oman Ghana mu say I think it's one kasa omode omunsa eye adwuma entrepreneurship no so etumi aboa wo mo ama mo so ya so wo masne ama mo nyuma na epeja kama na I think so ama emebni so enya eye partnership ahodo ewa amaman ahodo so na impuntuo akọ edema emebni no sina da achi bia no unemployment ahodo a ekoso ewo man Ghana mu say no enwuma ni ho yesu ye bobna no ni na eto ebetwa
represents our collective commitment ensuring that our young people have access to decent work, global opportunities, and a brighter future. It reflects our belief that Ghanaian youth possesses the talent, discipline, and resilience to compete and excel anywhere in the world when given the right platform.
Enye ekwekotie ayonmonyam for George Opare Ado enwetri and managing director and CEO Need Consult Limited ora agina KASE3 one so at the ensem to Jana watch as a jumedi the akwenya ba beto e de ama emebnu titu ni Ghana emebnu na afi de enwuma eni honom so wo menya enwuma aye ama bibie tumi akonkan e de ama omo impo se e wo man Ghana mu ase e na afi so ama ahodo so ene amano ne nina no womenya akwenya akakoye adwuma ewo ho
Ghana ababunu doso bebre we have over millions of young people na omoye nkrofo a omo pe akwenya se ombeye adwuma no ma realize their potential but the they say bebre na don't have the right opportunities na emabunu de we ne dan a baby opportunity wo no obeko whether say Europe and Ghana na Asia and wherever enti ne console ya stepping in say you best sanitize the environment na ya ma young people no akwanya say ombetu kwan papa because say utu kwan papa e bread de bread womre
yes ambo Mothers FM 102.7
Enti abusia enye kokotie eyowura agina KASE3 wono ene managing director ena CEO Need Consult Limited nene enye kokotie ye no enti abusia for ye begina ne nsem no so etwa ye ho tiawa age aboafro enkrato KASE Ghana Limited womo adama ena enwumei womo eso ya sne opensa asapapa eho edwo maso sembia enyi ho na won konkoton asase baako na nipa du edin ena wasonko ade a bra KASE Ghana Limited never beje wasase esase yanko a ene ye nsase e o mantem dunsia ni na emu na ode beye efuo na opese wudi sidan na opese de bibia de e KASE Ghana Limited ena wo benya ewo enti bra beje asase na so besi wudan kama yenti wonsu betumi esidan ye twem
Adishmaima KASE Ghana Limited ye jumakuo bia ye si dan ton dan eton sase krojia mansubia ni ho woto yen sase bia ebeye wo dia forever and ever wabusia da chinti enunti KASE say tia 10% pe na afehyiase wo si dan no na wo chia ne kakra KASE nkwa na won sase wo the whole Ghana ye won sase bi wo Greater Accra baby to say Atoman Kofi Donko Emam Pehia Danger Accra, Kaswa Obom, Dodowa, Kofi Kwe, Ayite Kote, Weja, Broadcasting, Ani Bebre, Sayakwa Central Region in Sua, Cape Coast, Ayensudo, J. Krodia, Portin, Gomwa Kwe Krum, Yankwa Eastern Region, Ensawam, Kwasinyako, Afram Krum, Afayentufa, Nayanko Northern Region, you will be Watamale, Nyampala, and Sassono Bay, UDS Campus, and Watamale Kumasa Kwanso, Yesansu Executive Wanzo, the other Chromo Pair. Now, what sounds so pair, Assassin Yantam, and the Ayakria and Efua, you will be with the whole Ghana, and on Tishu Yakwai, and with the main office, Accra, Tessano, Yani Ghana Telecom University, and our police training school, and the Dijanimu, Wakaswa Malam Quantum Ponoso, a month from Yani Resurrection, sorry, the Dijanimu, now Yakwa Amasama Iswa, opposite the Central Marks, Wa Amasamaiwa, or Bakrowa office, no, I was site of Hope, Afe Ashaiman, Yani Lorry Station, no, and the Dijanimu, Frey 0302 963740, Ebim 0302 963740, KASE Estate Ghana Limited, Yanti Usubet Mia Sidai.
Say pensas papa ne boda for mansu nyu when she biara nyu ha online KASE Estate Ghana Limited Bernabe je won say on che biara no na also etum aye efewa bobu wen battle no na oyaze efewa yi aye wo hwede ska wo bia fobota ase na bosum biara ntwen kakra afi mun na oyaze etie we masesiara no botum aye wufie anada esi wufie nsimpo abotum esi na za ma rent mesi mo be ya wanka sentina ma obi botum etem na asanso enyen wusika eshrin yazo botu fanso akọ bank nkumankuma oye rural banks no yaza wenya infinshia do no 50 good years na waye dwumezi na say na mpemfo nsam bitu go a wo chede sesiare na bank nkumankuma nya owo obi tide the rampon rural bank gomwa ankamu rural bank bank kitinkitinkitin na ro no sesi ampo wosidi no obesesa na akọ community bank oyaza orobua ema hona wo ye ejuma nkakranka no so ruso hona ase ye ankasa na dwumezi na so woto nsa frem penyfo ekukuda na second deputy governor Zuma Bank of Ghana Mrs. Matilda Asante Esiedo ena odensam to go to the CCRZ bank nkumakuma ne yaza orobua hona wo ye ejuma kiosk shop nkitinkitin no oyaza we na orobua ma hona mpuntu no akwenyim afeso hona ejuma na wo ye no so etum atrem izama hon into ora Mrs. Matilda Asante so Nelson Bia ozitu gwani.
I warmly welcome you to the Bank Square and to the very refreshing environment that I'm sure you're beginning to experience yourselves. For 50 years of rural banking, that's what we're celebrating today. But in addition to that, we're also looking at the strategic conversion to community banking as part of our ongoing industry reforms. We're very grateful that you made time to join us this morning. For 5 decades, rural banks have carried the weight of Ghana's financial inclusion, expanding access to formal finance in communities where the presence of the bank once felt impossible. The evidence is everywhere for us to see. A farmer who can finally afford improved seedlings, a trader who grows from a tabletop operation to now a thriving shop, a young woman who can save consistently through a mobile agent, and families who weather difficult seasons because a rural bank stood with them. These stories rarely make the headlines, yet they hold the quiet power that keep local economies alive. For many communities, the rural bank is not merely a bank. It is a source of pride, a symbol of hope, and a trusted partner in personal and communal progress.
Northern Sambi atugo chere mpemprenzi when jumaso awozo ne yaza oruko enyim ankasa onechi no so Vice President of Association of the Community Bank Dr. Frank Boatin so Sambi to go chere mpemprenzi ne yo aso inzama dam bank kumenkume wo ya matimemfa ho won pesia so na oda hwan rebo won kede jumaso awozo ne yaza okun ne enyim afi so wenya infinsia pole edunum 50 good years edonum 50 good years nti oyaza wenwa agie ankasa na afi I stand before you today
with a heart full of joy. 50 years ago, in 1976, bold idea took root in our rural community. Banking should not be a privilege reserved for the city, but a right extended to the farmer, the trader, the artisan, and the ordinary family in every corner of Ghana. That idea grew into what we came to know as the rural banking movement. Today, we gather here not merely to mark an anniversary, but to celebrate a rebirth, a formal transition under the Bank of Ghana's revised microfinance sector framework of our rural bank to community banks. Let me be clear about why this name change means so much to us. Rural told only half of our story. It spoke of geography, not of purpose. Community tells the whole truth about who we are, how we have become, how this institution is rooted not only in villages, but in relationships, not only in farmlands, but in fellowship, serving townships, market centers, and growing peri-urban communities alongside our traditional rural heartlands. This is not a cosmetic change. It is a joyful correction, a name that finally aligns with our mission.
Dr. Frank Baatan Northern Assembly Atuga Honorary so Dr. Johnson Pandit Esiamo Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyako Ampim na Southern Assembly to go and Pim Prince Bangi Aza words when you masuni ankasa wobwe egwazefo atotonofo ekwafonom ni na yaza wobwa ntimo warrior no one shana won ye osanda wanankasa so when you when you must was no
public events this year. I remember we had the Remit to Invest program in Virginia, USA. You remember that? It was intentional. We wanted to help drive remittance inflows into the country because we see those inflows as a key resource to promote investment into Ghana. And so we were intentional about that program. It was a successful program, and we were happy we engaged in that. We are following up with implementation. There's a unit that is driving it. We are coming up with a number of financial products across banks for the information of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora who want to invest back home. It is our responsibility to show them where to go. Then we also had a program on the 3 I's. That was meant to drive innovation. You remember we had that because innovation impacts on the achievement of our mandate. The world is changing. Technology is redefining the way we live. And as a central bank, we must evolve. Our role has to become more effective if we take advantage of innovation. So that 3I program also achieved its aim. Then about 2 weeks ago, we had a program on sustainability and the environment in Bangladesh.
Dr. Johnson Pandit Esiama Honorary so Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Ampim Nyakoso Zansambi Zituga.
And let me acknowledge the hard-working governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Pandit. I prefer Pandit to Johnson. Esiama and your deputies, Dr. Zakaria and Mrs. Esiedu Asante, the chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament, and my good friend, Honorable Isaac Aduko Adongo. I was told that the name is not Adongo, it's Adongo. So you have to pronounce it well for him to know that you really know him. My fellow directors of the Bank of Ghana, our Papa, the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege to join you as we commemorate 50 years of rural banking in Ghana, and even more importantly, as we inaugurate a new chapter through the transition to community banking. It is a moment to celebrate a remarkable legacy and to renew our commitment to a bigger and brighter future. This gathering invites us to reflect not only on 50 years of rural banking, but on a much longer journey in economic thinking. Exactly 250 years ago, in 1776, Adam Smith published The Wealth of Nations. That work transformed the way the world thought about economic development.
Matters FM 102.7.
Enza yakwe tie ye ora Thomas nyako ampem eno ozene nsam bi zitugwa no.
Free mu ani more mu wansan for money boremu ewo Dennis Miracles aboaje ne kira iyekofo wo mo kire no ennan no memene da ebe hyemu ama enrada anyanya ntie se yeja no ema ne ekofie na eno ena enne de Ghana sorry dwumedie so a ekoso no Kofi Boachi na pamfo mo tena se de mo tonsa de framanyofo ema wo mo baaye ebedi eho enkomo no ra shand of bright opoku buama wakasa edema NPP amanyo kunu wachere se won ewiase de se obi kasa bo wachi a na amanfo afane ne ho minasepo no matan no prekope esanse ehwe miracles aboaje de a na chere se eyade a NDC fo betina benwa so ne de wo maka na sema na chere se NDC fo ebo wa na chere se wo kan masem NDC fo bo wa na miracles ka masem na chere se wo wanka so mu se miracles na no din ye pa eninti na wo mo akire no se ne be ya want to me enka wo mo asem wa che mo pose na sentem kra no ni na say eye owura Raymond acha idea miracles aboaje ekaka nyensem bia na chere se ni na nam so bi eninti na ma NDC fo na fe yokofo ababeso owura miracles aboaje pechi en primprin afi na yeja na hu se eyamanyosem na mpanimfo yi
because of his stance from the time you were opposition government your free government, he's been one of the hard critics of this government. He's defending our party. He's holding the government on its toes. Nyoma miracles yo memo ana mani dinyako baby. It's not about remonata chia yakakoteno. And for somebody to say because of that arrest, it will guarantee him to win. Your friend is saying, your prime minister baby, and I say yeah baby dabi. If Miracles is going to win, he's going to win based on his competence, his service to the Lakodiyama MPP, and then the modern Obama party, and a party maybe just not because somebody has made him popular like they think. Please, share. Okay, you see, the NDC want to portray themselves as say the rule of law and it justice and you guys had your appointees. Kwabena Dufo was he not standing trial? And there's assembly then they could see here. Young Kwechanga Koyen 60-40 Didn't we hear that issue? Collins Dowd, what happened to that issue? AG discontinued those cases. He filed nolli prosequa. Several of them. And you guys should not paint yourselves holier than thou. Namo pese, I can't say justice like
Eno yora Shandoff Bwama eno echi nora Samuel Okan wono so ekasa edema NDC amanyoko no wachere se wo hwe eye procurement breaches ya eno bi ene enam so edi yi ma me Charlotte ose efri ne dibre e was abre no MPP ba eno na wono ene EC wo mo epanyini e wo manga ne mase nanso so eye MPP amanyoko no chere se procurement breaches nti entumi ne ma me Charlotte say enya adwuma biom ene nti ba ne sen ena afidie aba edi bo techi no de boba na afide mo ka se amanyosam enti ye nam so achi miracles ni na procurement breaches na bi enti na prempe miracles ye kire namum no enya amanyosam
obi na atro keke no ye fair say ye betumi den amano that kind of bill condition and intia because this procurement breaches no ye de to a whole electoral commissioner intia see hu say ye bone a wait ye den ewo mu 55 million ebi na he said the all cannot say amount for the total where you made ho that issue became a national issue yen na ye kasafa ho bi that amount I named 4 people and due to the competence of Nana Danko Akufo-Addo they are in prison sikana ye kan wansem no esun since asika no and nothing America say looking at the allegations now ya list document ni mu no it is only fair said that amount ye de to so I agree with my brother when he was saying say in such a way say it will encourage people to come. But at the same time, it will also be fair. Say, you be bibi na obia oti baby or person joining politics. Be who say over politics. Mo now don't saka or mind bibia. Onya ni easy sir. Send a bear out in a bit. He said, "You mean blessing me say you bet me my appointment, which I know for sure I'm going to get it." Yeah, mommy. Number who say, Mr. Dennis Miracles Abuadimpo. Ekoye say no. Bail conditions say near the tone so. Allegation like the allegations are what we are talking about. But what did the trying to say? And no to me for not deter me from committing.
Eno rani din Samuel Okan na ne krakra mu no Richard Suma one so deputy general secretary my United Party one so NPP for mo kan wo mudi kase amanyosem na NDC for esan se wo bi atukwan se mo pena kire na ade na wo atukwan akono mo ntumi ankire no na mom ne wakwa wa ba no afi na mba chense procurement breaches bi na mo nim se wakwa obedwane na so medin tenta mo se wanwane ni pesu na haya na ka onye mo na so ntumi ankire na afi na mo hu ni se mba chense hu se amanyosem pa na wo mo ye namu enyam na kwan so na mpanifo enam so a wo mo akire Dennis Miracles Aboache
na say MPP never abemu sisi a if they go after any NDC member, won't NDC also today be crying foul? They will cry foul. They'll be crying foul. The same way MPP is also what? Crying foul. So we need once upon a time. That's why they say all the great philosophers, yes, they say all the great philosophers, when they sit down, you know what originated philosophy? When people sit down, they ask, so what if all Ghanaians once upon a time or one day decide that we will not go for NDC, we will not go for MPP, we will go for UP. If they all do so, what will happen? Okay. Are you getting my point? Yes, sir. Could it be the panacea so we can bring all people on the same table for us to move the nation forward, that we will have conversations that are purely based on what? Political lines. But a next conversation now MPP or the Tuja in the defense of Miracle Abuajino, a purely political defense. Okay, sir. It's not a legal defense, it's not a defense of law, it's not a defense of anything, it's just a purely political defense. Simply put.
Yes, I'm Mothers FM.
Ora Richard Suma nene enye kokotie ya ode ensemi tu dwa se amanyosem na kire Miracles no ye de
Yes, about fan so akọ apomezin sem yezoboko Nkwanta South in Prempeh some about one in there meant mo wase bi etebrim no ho ma hona wo ye adwuma no bebre na ontum ko hona adwuma do na we na ye kokopie mu wo ti regional head directorate for pen for them some be atogo a watch there aw fitin to kwa ye be another meant mo wase kodu oyaza de bia wo ko hona adwuma do na chede wo dwinyin pa ho no ho osanda Yerefugo hospital wo enti watchment memfo ye na wo kada wo nko adwuma anhwen ye so a na asam papa ensi de mo hona oguo no so obokoda wa abre na we in a payina order asoye na no ye onoyamfo Dr. Kofi Amokode Zima Nkwanta South Municipal Hospital na St. Joseph Hospital no edon sam bi baba to go chere Prempeh why ade ye ankasa dem onfa ho biara na de Morisi biara no wokoda we hone adwuma won koda wonye na afeso wokoda wate hone achiri e wo hone adwuma pa wozimu
having a consolidation or having empathy with the people, the health staff who are still working. We want to be with them in spirit and in person as I've come down. To be able to encourage them to do the good work whilst taking care of their lives also. Because it is when they are alive that they will be able to render the quality service that is needed by everybody. So we came purposely here with the district directors who are having their retreat to come and empathize with.
Inza ye Ora Dr. Amokode Northern Sambi Atuga on so Madam Rita Wurupa or a chairperson in my conference of the district director of health service or Oti region no Sambi or two Gwani.
In fact, it is not easy to be in a conflict zone and deliver health service. So all we say is thank you very much for working for Mother Ghana. But I will also advise that safety first. Those who are already in the area know the zones that have been targeted. So have a colleague to help others. We are in the area that place is not a targeted area. Try to, help one.
I was here for you to us who did and some and for Emma Dear, and so for share a sika some soon for Kessel at Forsen and the NSMB at Suja watcher say, Bayanka and Primprino, Bano, unemployment, na quite before you say, it may be any in you may be to me a son and tempar dear, none say, and penny for before coin be so, na a fiana, and I say, I think Temubiano, quarterly, one much me at the air in Sambia to jar, now ya Jimmy Abu de room, send if I do say, any form of woman, but it's an even woman in mano, up in Yuma, ama woman.
I want to see the day that government statistician, aside announcing the GDP and inflation numbers every quarter, be able to announce the employment numbers so that I will be assessed by independent person, independent institution of state, whether the decisions we take are yielding the results that we need. Because growth.
And a Dr. Hassan Idrisu, one of your government statistician, one of the soldiers on Bashwa, I am a family JBA at Tunya Masene Beya, Ghana in Puntu, Ebekoso.
We've seen countries come to us to understudy what we are doing so that they can also start producing monthly indicator of economic growth. Honorable Minister, we launched our first ever annual inflation report. The maiden one was done just a few months ago.
Mothers FM 102.7.
That's about to find alcohol and you just say more. Biggest Nathaniel, you poor boy, your last maid. Na biggest Nathaniel, last maid. Biggest Nathaniel. If I'm praised, we could copy a move or comfort quad day. I Nizina and my mother one year, Jerry and Naba. And Ben praise walk on ancient walk. Oh, Cheddar watcher and you saw as I strip penny or Cheddar. Fitting bra was on an Indian water, Tayan, Indian inspiration, so woman and a way to wash and one can say upon what more to enjoy. Talk and no yaza or you just some papa and do opinion in name what to tell Nanso or yaza you swan on to member or Sunday and name what I just saw what the Fakonara or yaza was in Zama Bebre was about comfort quad day don't onje no for anti train rent. When can see a last maid no some beer or the two guy
appreciation because you know because we inspire the brave and see by say we show appreciation. Yeah.
Wow, super, you hear the song?
Yeah, you crazy. When people they mention we see them things. So me I make happy. So this is my first time I see you, but I make happy.
Me so for the place I did I make restricted small. And I'm in share in 10 PP so it is all banner. I say okay, look at this.
Sounds like inspiring me, so we have this back.
Okay.
I'm saying friend Rigid.
Rigid, okay.
I'm also with a sound.
Very good, but
we did that's it. The bicycle that's in here. Society, inspire.
Enza ye kwati ye last mid on your comfort quad day ninya ensa waso na was in common etie last mid ninjum policy comfort quad day biggest Nathaniel last mid big why at papa ntie bia emu de last mid on your comfort quad day na wo feature wo ho bonjum kama ya za wa chenyi so is a share comfort quad day nti aha na ye ze kase Baatan ni na ara bebe si na ye bosoro do na Mr Flex so the bumper to bumper but ye wondo ye ke de kase boy so Moko was on see a KASE3 Ghana Limited. And Sas Papa on KASE3 Ghana Limited. I mean, I'm a boy bossmo. It's not much to die. You mind out some many.
Nana Abba Ajeba Sabri de Yakram.